Hey there, cozy babe, and welcome back to the most coziest corner of the internet. In today's Pick a Card, we are going to be getting to the bottom of what the rest of your 2023 is going to be looking like. So whether you have had the best year of your life or this has been not your favorite, we're going to suss it out and get to the bottom of what is to come for the rest of your year in this Pick a Card. Now, if you don't know how Pick a Cards work, allow me to give you a brief introduction. So from these four choices here, you are going to, from left to right here, you're going to make a selection between one of these four piles. We have here pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, and pile number 4. And then once you have made a selection, you're going to go ahead and click on the description box down below, open it up and see that I have provided timestamps for you. You're going to select a timestamp and then you will be able to head right to your reading. Now, if you're having trouble making a choice, allow me to give you a little bit more information on the different selectors here. So pile number 1, you have this beautiful piece of pyrite that actually comes from Bow Life. Look at how beautiful that is. It just glitters. Oh. Pile number 2, you have this aqua aura quartz that is actually rare. This one also comes from Bow Life. The camera is even having a hard time picking it up. That's how rare she is. The camera even tries to look away because she's so stunning. Pile number 3, you have this beautiful piece of carnelian. And pile number 4, you have this piece of honey calcite. Now I'm going to go ahead and give you some time with each of these piles with a little bit of music, and then I'm going to get started starting from pile number 1. All right, so pile number 1, this is going to be your reading, and we are first going to be starting out with some cards from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. All the decks I use, of course, will always be linked down below for you as well. But first and foremost, we have the card of community. So the rest of your 2022, it looks like you are finally calling in a community or that your community is going to be growing. So you are either calling in a community. I can see that you have been manifesting like your soul tribe, your spirit circle, a group of friends, or possibly just a community of like-minded individuals or finding community in your town. We also have for you the card Between Worlds, and this tells me that I feel like the beginning part of your 2023 has really just not been your favorite. I feel like this year has actually been a really difficult or transformative one for you. I'm hearing from Spirit that you might actually have Saturn in Pisces natally, so you might be going through your Saturn return right now, or you just have something to do with like Saturn squaring part of your chart. So this could mean that you have Saturn in one of the signs. It's either going to be Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, or Sagittarius, that you would be dealing with like a Saturn square or a Saturn opposition or a Saturn return. So if you have Saturn in any of those 4 places, I do feel like this year has been a little bit harder. You've had to put in a little bit more dedicated effort, dedicated work, and it's just, you feel like you've kind of been living as like a hollow or more shell-like version of yourself. But what this card means is that through the rest of the year, you're actually going to come alive in stellar color. Like you're going to be seeing the world more optimistically. You're going to be feeling a lot better. And I love that. We also have the card of co-create for you. So the co-create card, this is literally about mastering your universe, becoming a co-creator with the universe. And it's like you finally accept that you have power and you're just not somebody that is just expected to take blows from life. So when you realize that you are the co-creator of your reality, it makes co-creating easier. So I do feel like your manifestation game is really going to be picking up, to be honest. And pile number one, I don't say this in every single pile, but if you feel like you need to amplify your manifestation power right now, I do want you to know that I have a course that is 50% off right now for autumn. And you can also use Pay in 4 on PayPal to pay for it if that is something that you require. But I have a course that's 50% off right now that will actually lead you through this step by step with like 20 videos, 4 workbooks. It's a whole beautiful course that I put together. So again, I don't say that in every pile. I genuinely feel like it's something that could assist you with stepping into this energy. So that is linked down below for you always on my website, KhloeTaylor.com. But we also have for you the card of why. So you're also going to be getting answers from spirit, from your guides on why things at the beginning of this year had to be the way that they were. I'm hearing that you're also going to be coming into more of a state of acceptance with these things. And all around, again, you're going to be feeling more optimistic. I'm actually feeling like a very big rise in your energy levels. To me, this is like, maybe you've been dealing with a lot of like pessimism or pessimistic energy, either from you or another person that's in your life. But I'm really hearing from spirit with just these 4 cards starting out that your 2023 is actually about to take a very dramatic turn for the better. I also wonder if maybe you have major Taurus or Scorpio placements. And the reason I say that is because we also had the North and South node for the last 18 months on Taurus and Scorpio, especially Scorpio placements, having the South node crossing your placements, it can lead to a lot of difficulty, a lot of restriction. So the fact that this is like lifting out as we are now moving into an eclipse season, a Libra and Aries axis. So just know that this could be something that really is helping benefit you right now. Now, up next, we have some more cards to help see what you're going to be receiving for the rest of 2023. So, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this next card. You do not even understand. We have the 2 of Cups for you, and the 2 of Cups, this is like one of the most favorable cards in tarot that has to do with love, relationships, harmony. So if you're single, you are literally going to meet the person of your dreams. Like this card, I need you to understand that the 2 of Cups, to me, I would rather see this card over the Lovers. I know people are always like, oh, the Lovers, you're going to have love. The 2 of Cups is better because the 2 of Cups is like a divine partnership. It's giving twin flame. It's giving, this is your most divine partner. And even if you're somebody that's already in a relationship, maybe things have felt stale or stagnated, Spirit is ultimately saying that you're going to be reharmonizing with your partner in a really beautiful way. And the relationship is going to feel like brand new. So absolutely wonderful. All right. We also have for you the 8 of Stars, which the stars in this deck basically correspond to like pentacles. So you're also going to be doing a lot of hard work. Now, what I want you to know and what Spirit wants you to know, pile number 1, is this doesn't mean you're going to be like killing yourself to get something done. Okay. When I see an 8 of Stars, this is an exciting card. This is pushing towards your goals, pushing towards your passions with ferocity because you're excited to do it. Like, this is not like, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what to do, it's too much. That would be giving 10 of Wands energy. The 8 of Stars is a card that this is like a positive creative card. It's wanting to work on self-fulfillment or like basically working on your craft, working on something that is just really important to you that maybe impacts others, or like even just like getting better at a skill. It's something that you want to do, not something that you feel like is forced or that you have to do. So dang, your 2023 is about to be lit, let me tell you. Then we have for you the card of Strength. And what I can see from this is that you're really going to feel like your inner strength has completely transformed. I'm also seeing with this infinity symbol up here, you know how we talked about relationships for you just a moment ago? I feel like the person that you are either already in a relationship with or that you're going to be meeting that is like a soulmate for you, this is somebody that you've done multiple lifetimes with. They're like part of your star cluster. And if you were just looking for confirmation, consider this the confirmation. But the Strength card coming out also tells me that you finally feel ready to like be more of yourself again. Maybe you have felt like you've had to hide yourself away for a while. Maybe you've had a really internal start to 2023 or like first huge chunk of 2023, but now you feel like you have the inner strength and the inner fire to kind of come out of your shell again. Then we have for you the 9 of crystals. So I do feel like with all of the change that's going to be coming into your life pile number 1, the 9 of crystals is often being afraid of like too much dramatic change all at once. It can be a card where we're a little scared or we're just kind of ruminating on things when we don't need to be, because it's actually really safe for you to do what you're doing. So the 9 of crystals tells me that nothing bad is actually going to happen. It's that your thoughts are just overwhelming you. There is a sense of overwhelm with all the change that is taking place. So just know that this will pass. It's not something that's going to stick with you forever, but that because so much positive change is happening, sometimes it takes time to get used to those changes. It's not something that just like, oh, your life changes overnight. But like if you've been going through a hard time, it takes time for you to get used to that and not just expect that it's all going to go away. And then we have the card of the self. So I do feel like you have already been going through I love this card, but sorry, I'm going to try not to blind you with it. It's like a mirror. But this card, the self card, is all about self-reflection, self-actualizing, actually coming to peace with the self. So I do feel like you're getting a lot more inner peace. I'm hearing that where you've had a lot of imposter syndrome, self-limiting thought, the reason maybe even that 9 of crystals came out for you is because you're being asked to transmute that energy and become more of yourself. Be open and strong enough to being more of yourself more openly. And what this is going to do for you, especially because you are attracting a community right now, is as you self-actualize, as you become more of yourself, you are going to attract the people that are your community because they are going to like you for the person that you are, not as some like facade or person that you feel like you have to be. And that's such a beautiful thing to get to experience. I love that. Okay, so up next, we have a few more cards for you. It looks like we have for you the card of imagination. And it says, imagination now sets me free. Divine ones, I send my thanks to thee. So I see that you have that 8 of stars. Remember how I told you you're going to be like working on perfecting your craft or something of that regard? Spirit is ultimately saying with imagination, you're going to be dreaming and scheming up new things. Like new ideas are coming to you, new exciting prospects. You might even be signing like a new contract. I'm hearing like something that you have imagined in your mind's eye is literally coming to life. So it could be something as literal as like animation. You're like, you work for an animation studio and something is getting announced. That's obviously very specific, but I need you to also know that everything starts in the imagination. So when your imagination is being blessed, only good things are going to come out of it. Because even this camera that I'm using right now, these tarot cards, all of these things came from someone's imagination, right? The concept of the camera, these tarot cards, somebody thought of these designs and made them, right? So when something comes from the imagination and your imagination is being blessed for the rest of the year, only good things are going to be coming, and it's time to actually put action into those ideas because they're actually, oh my gosh, what Spirit is saying to me, y'all, for you is like the ideas that you have, you really need to start putting them into action because they are actually ideas from divine. Like they are ideas that your guides specifically send to you because they are things that will better your future and you will you are the person that will birth these ideas into being. So it's such wonderful. I love. Actually, let's put this card over here. Y'all know me, always trying to place the cards for the aesthetic. Let's go ahead and put you right up here. Okay. And then we also have for you, true love, come to me. True love shall come to me as I will, so mote it, as I do will, so mote it be. So remember how I told you with that 2 of Cups, your relationship was getting an upgrade, or either if you're already in one, it's going to become more harmonious. Or if you're single, you're going to be calling one in. This to me just confirms that. Your love is going to become so much more pure. The person that you share it with or call in, you finally call in a divine match, somebody who really is your soulmate. I feel like the back end of your 2023 is actually going to be really romantic. I'm hearing from Spirit that not only is this about romantic love for you, it's also about romanticizing your life more and finding joy in the little things and finding joy and love in your day-to-day life. If you've never heard of that, I mean, I'd be surprised, but hey, everybody starts somewhere. Today, I feel like I love autumn. Y'all know that if you've been long-term listeners. I mean, look at our little autumn leaves on set today. I love autumn. It's my favorite season. I feel like I don't even know her when autumn happens. I love autumn. Winter, on the other hand, we get a little seasonal depression. I don't really like that very much, but autumn, it is my time to thrive. And I was just looking out my window today. It was raining really hard, and the wind kicked up, and all these leaves just shuddered across my street. And it was the most beautiful, glorious, golden thing I've ever seen. And I was just wow. Autumn is just such a gift. And to me, that's a moment of romanticizing, right? I had my cinnamon coffee in my hand. I was wearing my Ugg slippers. I was I am just really out here doing the damn thing. And I feel that's the level that your life is transforming at the end of 2023 right now. This is from now until the end of 2023. It's things just improve so dramatically for you that you actually start romanticizing your life more. And I love that. Oh, I can't put this one here because there's a crystal here. I'm going to have to start setting them over here. But seriously, y'all are just I feel like life is about to get so good for you. And you're going to be dang, I'm so happy that I chose to keep believing in myself. I'm so happy that I chose to keep going. I'm so happy. I'm hearing a lot of just genuine happiness in general that you're feeling. These are affirmations or things that you're going to, these are things you're really going to be affirming to yourself. And then we also have for you, see, I told you that 9 of crystals, this card is attached to the 9 of crystals, Spirit is telling me. And we have unlikely. So I feel with this card of unlikely, this is the things that you think are going to happen that are negative or bad or you're afraid of. Spirit is literally here to tell you that idea is unlikely. That's not, your mind is getting away from itself, and it is unlikely. Those scenarios that you are afraid of, they are unlikely to happen because you are actually vibrating at a new frequency. Genuinely, the rest of your 2023 is going to be a night and day. Okay. It's especially when I see the Between Worlds card down there, that's literally, it goes from black and white to color. It's night and day. So the negative scenarios that you're afraid of, if you just came here and needed some confirmation, they are very unlikely to happen. And you're safe. You're protected. See, look at this. We also have the card of no need to worry. So I know that that's so much easier said than done. And telling somebody not to worry works about as well as baptizing a cat works. But just no need to worry. Genuinely, your guides want you to know that they have your back. They are there with you, even in the times that you haven't felt them. They have been there with you. And everything really is about to just get it. I feel some of you have actually already been seeing it. Some of you have already been oh my gosh, life really is wonderful. It is beautiful. It is a breath of fresh air. I feel some of you have genuinely already been feeling it. And so this is just more confirmation for you that things are really really on like a good trajectory. Things are on a good path for you. And you really don't need to worry about anything right now. Things are being taken care of for you. And then we also have this last card here that I'm actually going to read from the book because there's just no way I could have all these memorized. A lot of my oracle decks are like that. Like sometimes I can kind of suss it out by, by feeling into it or seeing what guides have to say about it. But these ones I like to read from the book. So we're going to do that. But I do have the card of wolf for you. So this might be just like this might just be an animal totem for you that you see a lot. I could see that being the case. Might just be like an animal totem that really calls out to you. I don't know why my camera refuses to focus on it right now, but wolf might be just an animal totem that is significant to you, but we're going to see what it says. So wolf says, guardian of family, tribe, activism, ritual. The wolf's mission is to uphold the well-being and longevity of the pack. Healthy wolf energy expresses itself through activism, mentorship, humanitarian efforts, or teaching. The wolf gets into trouble when it assumes every member of the tribe must follow suit. This includes children walking in their parents' footsteps. Although it will surely be uncomfortable at first, practicing tolerance helps balance out agitated wolf energy. Contemplate the following: embrace all, exclude none. When in balance, the wolf is reliable, democratic, and fearless. When out of balance, the wolf is judgmental and dominating. To bring into balance, practice letting go. So I feel like for you, because your reading is so overtly positive, this to me is like letting go of the beliefs that have kept you stuck. Letting go of the beliefs that keep you living in the past, that keep you worried, and instead deciding to focus on the things that are working out for you. And if this reading resonated with you, please leave me this emoji down below in the comment section so I know which pile you chose, and tell me what you've been manifesting and how it's been going. I genuinely take the time to read every response in the comment section, so I can't wait to see what you've been manifesting. If you would like to support me a little bit more and get some extra content for yourself, please consider supporting me on my Patreon. Every single week, I sit down and I channel astrology, tarot, and bibliomancy for you. And every single month, I give you the theme with tarot. And every single month, depending on which tier you join my Patreon at, I also do community events and we do bonus content, which can include things like vlogs, equipment overviews, extra pick a cards, extra astrology videos. My Patreon is such a good time and I would love to have you over there as a cozy babe. And if you want even more free content from me, please do consider checking out my podcast. It's called The Cozy Babes Club, and it is literally all things cozy. We talk about mental health, we talk about trends, we talk about everything under the sun. I love my podcast. It's such a great source, I feel like, of more from me, but just it's like where all the context comes together. So if you follow me on socials or anywhere else, the podcast to me gets like all the BTS. So definitely check out my podcast. It's available everywhere you listen to podcasts. Link for that down below. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and don't forget to stay cozy out there. All right, pile number 2, if you chose the Aqua Aura Quartz, this is going to be your reading. So right off the bat, we have the Orphaned card for you for the rest of your 2023. So I do feel like the start of this, you are going to have a little bit of a rocky, and I do feel like this has already started. Like you're already experiencing this. I feel like you're having a little bit of a rocky start to the end of your 2023 in the sense that you feel really abandoned by someone, possibly ostracized by a group, or like you're feeling very alone. It might be that like there's just been disconnection that has happened between you and someone else, you and a group, you and a friend, you and a family member. There is definitely some sense of aloneness that is coming through. Now, we also have by the book, and I feel like this is something that you're actually becoming aware of. Pile number 2 is that I think you've lived a lot of your life by a subset of rules. Like, it's almost like you've tried to check all the boxes, okay? You've tried to be like, well, I have at least this many friends, this kind of relationship. My relationship with my parents is all right. I went to school and got this degree. I have this kind of job. I drive this kind of car. Like, you've really been living life by the book. And I actually think that right now, for the rest of 2023, you're being given the opportunity to break out of that mold. And this actually might be why you're going through a separation period, but let's keep going and see what else. Okay, we have a change in the wind. So this is like exactly what I was saying. We have a change in the wind, which tells me that like your life for the rest of 2023 is changing dramatically. Okay, we are actually seeing a change on the wind. You're kind of in territory that you maybe have never experienced before. I feel like you're actually in the midst of learning some like really big life lesson. Like, you're going to remember 2023 as the year that like, oh, this really big thing changed for me and my life changed, and it was difficult at first, but it was for the better like eventually. So when I see a change in the wind though, I do feel like this has been a very somewhat challenging and changing time for you. Like, you're just experiencing changes that you've never experienced before. And it's hard for you probably to even really talk about it with people, because I do get the sense that there is some shame surrounding this. Like, you feel bad that you have lived your life a certain way and now you're wanting to change it. But I just want you to know, and Spirit wants you to know, that it's okay. You're allowed to change the rules for your life anytime you want to. And then we also have the card of no place like home. So I do feel like a lot of you that chose this pile, you're actually getting a new home, or like something about your home. You might be discovering like things about your childhood or healing from your childhood. But I also feel that in general, you're manifesting a home, a place of resting. You're manifesting something like a place for yourself, because I feel like you have tried to stay in a lot of places where you just don't belong. And this doesn't mean like, I do think that it can be a physical home. Like I said, I think some of you really are manifesting a physical home, but I also feel like you haven't fully come home to yourself. And because of that, no person or place or thing is going to give that to you. You have kind of done things by the book to keep yourself in this feeling of what you think home should be like. But ultimately, the transformation that's taking place in you for the rest of 2023, and I think yours is a very personal transformation. It's less of the outside world. It's more of an internal transformation. Yours is all about coming home to yourself and changing how you believe about yourself. Some of you I'm hearing are also going to be like physically, like your home, right? The home of your soul, your body is going to be changing. And that's not like a negative or a positive. It's just change in general of the body in some way. Let me just fix these a little because I like to make them look pretty for you. Okay, so next we have some more cards to kind of explain what is happening. Oh, I knew it. I see a card in here coming up that I knew it was going to be in here. I should have called it out. Okay, so we have the 10 of crystals. Like I said, you're going through such a transformation right now that I feel like things have felt hard. Like you have really been needing a lot more emotional healing, because there's a chapter of your life that is ending. And it's a chapter that I feel like you've kind of overstayed your welcome in. And it's something that has been a necessary change. And you're being pushed to the point where like, I feel like you in some way might have asked for this, Spirit is saying, like maybe not in such a way, like you didn't know what the result was going to be. This isn't your fault. But I do feel in some regard, you kind of asked for it. Like you were like, hey, I don't like my situation, change it. And the thing is, when you ask your spiritual team, your guides, God, whatever it is that you ask help from, when you ask for help, you kind of have to surrender is being okay no matter what the outcome is. And when that happens, a lot of times, a lot of chaos will surround the changes that you've asked for. So like, if you want something in your life to change, but the people in your life actually hold you back and you don't know it, don't be surprised when your guides remove those people from your life. And then you're like, well, shit, what did I do? That hurts so much. But in reality, what you don't see is how the energetic ties with these people held you back. And when you finally get to the new place that you're headed right now, you will see how held back you were. But right now, it just feels like it hurts. It feels like there's transformation happening. You're going through a transformation of self. And like I said, I really get the sense that you asked. Like, this is not something that your guides were just like, we're just going to put you through this for no reason. Okay, now we also have the Four of Cups, which this card tells me that you have been really unhappy with your life circumstances. I feel like things have been the same. I'm honestly hearing since like 2020 for you. You've been going through something where things have felt the same since 2020. Nothing's really shifted. Even though you've tried to make strides yourself, you just kind of feel like even though there maybe has been good opportunities or good things that have come out over the years, like I ultimately feel like the kind of change you've been looking for, it's almost like you're giving up hope. Like you aren't even able to see the goodness of the universe right now. It's like there is goodness around you, but you can't see it because you're so focused on what you don't have. Then this is the card that I said I knew this card was going to be in here. So now I see that you have the Death card, which this doesn't mean actual death. It means it's like a death of a kind, though. It's a death of the self. It's a death of a past version of yourself. It kind of goes hand in hand to me with this 10 of crystals down here, because the 10 of crystals is that card that I said, like, a chapter of your life is ending. And there's a version of yourself that is also falling away, that it's not even that it's like falling away or dying, this like painful situation, right? It's that this version of yourself that really needs to kind of be purged away. I wouldn't even say purge. It's like, it needs to be cleansed. It needs to be seen. It needs to be held so that it knows that it's safe to be a part of you, because we all exist as like multiple pieces of a whole. This is what like parts work is all about. And I technically said this to pile number 1, and I don't usually, but I do have a mini course on my website called The Authentic Self. It's got an actual meditation that is parts work along with a workbook. So if you feel like you need that to like work through this part and work through this transformation right now, I would highly encourage that you pick it up. It's not my big course. It's not the one that's like half off right now. It's the other one that's a lot cheaper and a lot shorter, but it's still like a really great tool to have in your repertoire. So if you feel like you need that, I would definitely encourage you to pick it up. I want to say it's $18. It's on KhloeTaylor.com. And you can check out with card, PayPal, anything. But in any case, I feel like it's something that could actually help with transforming. So with this Death card, I do see that you're going through a major transformation right now. And like I said, you've kind of always played it safe in life. And I feel like playing it safe, you're starting to realize has not gotten you the results in the life that you want. And you're kind of just sick of that. So we also have for you the Page of Stars. So the Page of Stars, this is like new inspiration, new ideas, new ways of growing in the material world, new ways of making income. This can also be like, honestly, the start of a new project, something that you really believe in that could actually stand to make you some kind of material gain, material goods. Pages are always kind of this place of starting out. They're newer energy. They're not quite at the phase of like full completion, but they are the conceptualization of things. So I would say just like back half of 2023, you might receive some kind of inspiration, and you're meant to pay attention to that. And then I also see that you have the Lovers card here. So the Lovers card, this is about shadow work, but it is also about a partnership with someone else. And what's interesting to me is I do see that there's like lightning in this card, but then on the other side, there's also like the forbidden fruit, the snake. And then there's also like these autumn leaves down here. I honestly wonder, I'm just going to say what's coming up. Please don't shoot the messenger, okay? I feel like if you're somebody that's in a partnership, this could also be a really close friendship, okay? But if you're in a partnership of some kind, I honestly feel like you sacrifice a lot to keep this partnership. And that's what you're not seeing. You sacrifice a lot to hold on to this person. And I think that it's time that you actually really pay attention to that. Because again, you've always kind of tried to check all the boxes. And so I feel like because you're in a committed partnership, like you think that that says good things about you, but ultimately you're not happy most of the time. And Spirit is saying that if you're not feeling happy, if this energy is always what's around you, it's not always just life circumstances. Sometimes it's actually the people and the energy that you connect with that really messes you up the most. So I would say like it's definitely going to be a time period where you're going to be evaluating this relationship. And that's normal. I want to let you know that like it's normal to be in long-term partnerships and need to evaluate them. Like if I could give you a personal example just to like maybe lessen that blow. I talked about this heavily on my podcast recently in one of the episodes, like from last month, I think, where earlier this year, my husband and I were like talking about divorce, and we've been together 15 years, married for 10. And now we're fine. We've totally sorted out the differences. Everything's okay. But that was like the first time that had ever happened in almost a 10-year marriage. And, you know, I have friends where things like that have come up a lot sooner in their relationships, and they've been able to work through things too. But I just want you to know, if you have any like hidden shame around relationships and the speed bumps that can come in through them, it doesn't always mean a breakup. Sometimes it does, but it's normal for relationships to hit rough periods. You cannot expect relationships to be smooth sailing when you have two people that are always on their own journeys, whether they are more or less committed to each other. And it's okay to need to evaluate this relationship and not hold on to it just for the sake of holding on to it. Now, we also have for you, I really do feel like you're manifesting a home, because we also have this card of safe home for you. So I do feel like those of you that are trying to manifest like a physical home for yourself that feels safe for you, you really are manifesting that in the last months of 2023. Like your home is on the way. It's coming. You will be moving to a place that is more sacred for you. It says, I cast this circle round about, safety now is beyond a doubt. So I feel like right now, maybe your place of residence like doesn't feel safe for you. And it's not like, I don't think that means that there has to be like crime happening right out your front door. I feel like we forget sometimes that even not being able to express ourselves authentically in our home because there are conflicting opinions with the people that we share the home with, that can make a home not feel safe. When you're not allowed to be seen, heard, valued, or like be your most authentic self, and you have to kind of hide that away based on the other company, that makes a home not safe for you. So I do feel like you are going to be manifesting a place where you're going to actually find peace, serenity, and safety, because you got two cards that talk about a home situation. Now we also have the card of confidence for you. Sorry, I do feel like your reading has been very heavy, and I am so sorry, but I do feel like on another positive note, your confidence is returning to you. You are going to be becoming so much more confident in the back half, or not the half, but like this back, what would you call that? Like a third of the year? Yeah, September, October, November, December, it's like a third of the year. So you are going to be receiving a lot more confidence. You're going to be feeling a lot more self-assured in what you will and won't tolerate in your life. And I think that that has been kind of a long time in coming for you. And then we also have for you the card of peaceful resolution. So remember how I talked about all of these, like, you've got the Death card, the 10 of Crystals, the 4 of Cups. There's a lot of cards in your reading, and the Orphaned card, right? There's a lot of cards in your reading that would say like things are kind of not going to be peaceful for a little bit. And I do feel like going through eclipse season, you might have major Libra placements in your charts, or Aries or Taurus even, because Taurus is going to have a partial lunar eclipse also this month. I do feel like if you have a lot of Libra placements in your charts, because the eclipses are going to be happening there, and that is the sign of partnerships, I could see where some things are going to get kind of shaken up. Contracts, partnerships, relationships, friendships, how we harmonize with other people. But what you need to know, regardless of what happens, even if there's a breakup of any kind, there will be a peaceful resolution. Things don't have to be heated, hot, and angry. And then we have for you in the near future. So I do feel like this is going to take less than, like, you won't even have to wait until December to see some of these changes. A lot of these things are taking place. Like, you know what? I'm going to roll the astrology dice for you. We're going to see how many weeks out. Sorry, I gotta grab it out for you, but we're going to use this dice right here, and we're just going to see how many weeks, Spirit, how many weeks for these changes to take place. 3 weeks. 3 weeks. You see that? 3 weeks. 3 weeks. And that is when these changes are going to be taking place for you. So I do feel like yours are happening faster. And that's why you have the card of in the near future, because this isn't even all like, yes, I think some of these things will continue until the end of 2023, but a lot of the major changes and shakeups, they're happening within the next 3 weeks. So it's a much like faster turnaround for you. And then lastly, we do have an animal card for you. We have the card of the octopus. And this card I will be reading from the book because I do not know all of these descriptions by heart. They are just too many. But this card says, reaching, yearning, lacking boundaries and direction. The octopus signifies a wonderfully perceptive mind paired with a lack of healthy boundaries. Unfortunately, this results in well-intended but messy relationships. The octopus entwines itself into other people's business and shares their own without restraint. They believe that's what it means to be close. If you notice after spending time with someone that you feel drained or uneasy, the essence of octopus is at play. Begin to establish healthy boundaries. Be patient and firm. It may be a very old habit to change. When in balance, interested, engaged, and intelligent. When out of balance, needy, clingy, lacks courage. To bring into balance, space to oneself and talk therapy. So I do feel like that's something that you are majorly working on right now. I feel like this could even be why with that orphaned card, you feel like you've been a little bit pushed away by people. I think some of it is like either you're actually getting not such good energy from them or they're not getting good energy from you. And so there is this like either need for boundary and you're being given the opportunity to notice that. And also, needy, clingy, lacks courage. I wanted to point that out because Spirit kind of told me to go back and read it again. I do feel like this is something, and I know this isn't easy to hear. You might be somebody who also exudes those behaviors, being needy, clingy, or lacking your own courage, lacking your own confidence or audacity. And the thing is, confidence is an inside job. It's not something that always comes easily if it was never modeled to you or if you've had your confidence shot. It's not your fault. But now that you're aware, that's kind of the thing with awareness is once you become aware, it is your responsibility to change it. And Spirit is ultimately saying in order for your life to get better, you do have to take responsibility. If you feel like you don't have confidence, you need to ask yourself, what would a confident person do? How, like, that's something that I feel like highly successful people do just in general is they don't just tell themselves over and over and over, oh, I'm not confident. Oh, I'm not confident. Oh, I'm not confident. they'd say, okay, let me go find some books on confidence. Let me go listen to some TED Talks on confidence. Let me go and buy a workbook on confidence. Let me put my confidence into practice at least bi-weekly by like pushing myself out of my comfort zone. And they make themselves gain confidence. It takes making yourself uncomfortable to do it. But ultimately, if you feel like you exude this, Spirit is saying it's time for you to get serious about changing it. And I know your reading was a little bit harsh, and I'm sorry. This was definitely not the intention I set coming into this reading, so it was kind of a surprise for both of us. But I feel like it was really the medicine you needed to hear. If this reading resonated with you, please leave me this emoji down below in the comment section so I know which pile you chose, and tell me what you've been manifesting and how it's been going. I genuinely take the time to read every response in the comment section, so I can't wait to see what you've been manifesting. If you would like to support me a little bit more and get some extra content for yourself, please consider supporting me on my Patreon. Every single week, I sit down and I channel astrology, tarot, and bibliomancy for you. And every single month, I give you the theme with tarot. And every single month, depending on which tier you join my Patreon at, I also do community events and we do bonus content, which can include things like vlogs, equipment overviews, extra pick a cards, extra astrology videos. My Patreon is such a good time and I would love to have you over there as a cozy babe. And if you want even more free content from me, please do consider checking out my podcast. It's called The Cozy Babes Club, and it is literally all things cozy. We talk about mental health, we talk about trends, we talk about everything under the sun. I love my podcast. It's such a great source, I feel like, of more from me, but just it's like where all the context comes together. So if you follow me on socials or anywhere else, the podcast to me gets like all the BTS. So definitely check out my podcast. It's available everywhere you listen to podcasts. Link for that down below. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and don't forget to stay cozy out there. All right, pile number 3. If you chose the Carnelian, this is going to be your reading. So let's go ahead and see first with these Wisdom of the Oracle cards. All the decks I used today, of course, will be linked down below for you in the order that they appear. So first and foremost for you for 2023, I see that you have the card of Chop Wood. And this card, it always comes out when somebody is really working on like having a strong work ethic. You are like getting your shit together. Okay. That's what this card entails to me. It's like you are on top of your game. You are really, for these last like 4 months of 2023, you are going to be really on top of your ish. Like you are going to be, it's not even just like work. I mean, I know I said work ethic, but like, I feel like it's not even just work. It's like a workout routine, like a dietary plan. It's up-leveling your wardrobe. It's putting in work that in the past felt difficult for you. It is now becoming easy because you feel very on top of what you are doing. And it's like you have the energy to do it as well. Now we also have for you the card of Treasure Island. So this also tells me that in the most unexpected way, you will be receiving some kind of major abundance during these last 4 months of 2023. And it's going to come in a really unexpected way because like seriously, when do you ever see a turtle just like roll up to you with treasure on its back? What? You know, it's going to come in a really unexpected way. So I would say just like keep yourself open to receiving because there is some kind of gift coming your way before the end of the year. And I'm not talking just like a Christmas gift or like a Yuletide gift. You know, this is something that isn't like unexpected, right? It's unexpected. It's surprise. Now we also have the card of Flexible for you. So this tells me that kind of how I was saying, you maybe even started like a workout regimen or something like that, and you're really sticking to it, doing the hard work that it takes to gain the body that you want. I also feel like you're becoming literally more flexible, but I also feel like if you feel like you struggle with rigidity in your day-to-day life, I actually feel like through being on top of your ish, so to speak, you're also going to be able to become more flexible. Like, it's almost like that saying of like when people say they are high maintenance to be low maintenance, like you do a bunch of stuff in advance so that you can be low maintenance. I feel like flexibility can be the same way. Like you do a bunch of things or you get really ahead of schedule so that you can be more flexible in your day-to-day life because you give yourself more wiggle room by being on top of things. And we also have the card of serendipity. Listen, y'all, Treasure Island and serendipity in the same reading. Your autumn and winter, or like start to winter, because that will carry us to the end, unless it's spring and summer where you live, which it very well could be, depending on where you're watching from. But this serendipity coming out with Treasure Island, I feel like something really lucky, like especially if you've been working on like your lucky guy, lucky girl, lucky person energy, it's like you finally evolved to become this person. It's not just you wishing for it, hoping for it. You are literally putting in the effort to be your own dream guy, dream girl, dream person, and you're not looking for it outside of yourself because you are it. Now, we do have more cards to help us explain what's going on here. So I do see that you have the 5 of Cups, and this card, I won't lie to you, it's not usually one that talks about something really positive, but here's the thing. I think because your reading is so overtly positive, that's just like what we're getting here. I really do feel like this 5 of Cups is saying that you're going to be getting over this. Like the mindset that you have been stuck in lately is one that constantly makes you focus on everything that's not working in your life. And I feel like this is something that is going to be of the past by the time 2023 rolls to a close. You are going to be able to start focusing on the good things that you have. Because if you'll notice in this image, this girl is crying over the spilled cups, but she's not taking notice of the 2 cups that are right behind her that are still full. It's like she's really upset just about these cups and doesn't notice how good things actually are. So I do feel like this is going to be a mindset of the past, and it's something that you are genuinely overcoming before the end of the year. Now, we also have for you the 9 of Cups, which this card, probably one of the most favorable cards you could receive, because this is the card of pure manifestation. So that just means that basically whatever you've been manifesting, you're getting it. Okay. Before the end of the year, you're getting it. If you're wanting to travel, you're going to have either arrangements made or news of a trip coming. If you're wanting to manifest a person, that person is going to be in contact with you. If you're wanting to manifest money, you are going to see your bank deposits being amplified. Like whatever it is that you are trying to manifest. I actually just heard, and please know that this is probably literally one person that is listening. I just heard that there's somebody here that is manifesting a pregnancy that by the end of December, they are going to find out that they're pregnant. So congratulations in advance if this is you. It's a really special. But 9 of Cups, this just tells me that your manifestation is going to come before the end of 2023. Like, I feel like you could even be somebody that you feel like your manifestations just don't come to pass. And that's been pretty consistent for you, that you feel like it's like, oh, I just don't receive what I want. But ultimately, that is going to change for you over the next 4 months. You're going to be somebody that's like, I always get what I want. Are you kidding? Everything I put on my vision board comes to pass. Then we also have for you the card of the Ace of Wands. So this card, I always like to remind everybody every time we see it, it's very phallic in nature. I'm going to try to say this in a way that isn't going to get me in trouble on the platform. This card often is like, it's the having really good sex card with somebody else, like a new flame, a new partner in the bedroom, if you will. So that could be something that you're manifesting. If it's not that, of course, I know some people here are asexual. I always want to make room for you on my channel. But if that's not it for you, the Ace of Wands is also having a new idea, a new creative project, and also new passion, new vitality, where you feel like maybe you haven't had that in your life. It's like basically you get this amplification of energy that you can use to put towards whatever it is that you want. The thing with Aces of Wands, or with aces in general, is that they are gifts from the universe in some capacity. You get to decide what you're going to do with that energy. So if it's like a passionate idea, you need to act on that. If it's a creative project or endeavor, you need to act on it and put momentum behind the energy that is being given to you. Then we have for you the 6 of Stars, which is basically like the 6 of Pentacles. And the 6 of Stars symbolizes an equal exchange of energy. So what you're putting out, you're being given back. There's no more, if you feel like you've been in a situation where you've been putting a lot of energy and time into yourself or into another person or into a business, Spirit is saying that is going to be something of the past by the time this year comes to a close. No more unequal exchanges of energy. Things are going to be even and equal for you. So I feel like that's always a good sign, to be honest, the 6 of Pentacles. It's also like being well paid for the work that you do. And then we also have for you the Page of Wands, which the Page of Wands, this card is really, again, it comes back to that passionate idea. The Page of Wands can also be a person that you're manifesting, like a love interest, but ultimately there's somebody that's very optimistic, positive, feels like they can go for it. And like, so they do. So they go for it. There's somebody that feels like they can go for their dreams, reach for the stars. I really get the sense that you're gaining a lot of momentum in your life in general before the end of the year. Like if there's something that you've been putting a lot of time and attention already into, or you've been thinking about starting, this is your sign to get started or to put more attention and focus there, because I'm getting another message from Spirit that like, if you're somebody that has tried to manifest something in the past and it didn't work out, but the dream still lives within you, it's time to try again. It's time to try again. And like now is the right time. Okay. Now we also have for you the card of Divine Guidance. And this card says, whispers from the beings who shine, let their message be clear and kind. So I do feel like if you feel like you're like, I don't know what this is, Kloee. I don't know what the idea is. There's nobody in my life like that. Spirit is ultimately saying you do need to open your connection with divine. And please know, I always want to make room on my channel for like anybody that has been religiously traumatized, because I am a religious trauma survivor myself. I know how hard forging a new connection with divinity can be when you've come from a background of having that power abused. But I just want to assure you that you do have a guidance system, and it doesn't matter what beliefs you choose to carry. I'm a firm believer that all truths are true. Like to some degree, we're all talking about the same thing. We just choose to use the definitions that work the best for us. So like I choose spirit guides. I choose spiritual team that works for me, but maybe it is God for you. Maybe it's Mother Earth for you. Maybe it's the sound of the wind. Maybe it's your ancestors. Maybe it's enlightened beings, right? Maybe it's aliens. Like there's so many different ways to think about this. But the important thing is that you let yourself be led and you trust where you're being led, because divine wants to make contact with you. And if some of you are like, I'm already in a divine practice, I'm also hearing that there are guides that have not presented themselves to you before that are wanting to forge new connections, and you need to be more open to that. So next we also have the card of sensuality. Okay. Says, your freedom flowing from far away. I dance, I love, I laugh, I play. So sensuality, it doesn't have to mean sex, even though we did kind of pull a card that might have been about that. So it could be getting more sensual with somebody else. But I would also say when you live sensuously, It's about living life through the senses. It's what are the best tastes? What are the best smells? What things can I put on my body that feel really good? Like what can I touch that feels good? What can I listen to that feels good? How can I amplify my senses all at the same time? And living very sensuously. I also feel like living sensuously comes back to romanticizing your life a little bit. I feel like that's something that falls in line with like the definition of it is it's romanticizing through the senses. So I do feel like your sensual nature, your sex appeal, your charisma as well, I'm hearing are going to be amplified coming into the next 4 months. And maybe that's why you're also like going to be getting dick down, or, use the appropriate body part that works for you. But I do see that there's definitely something there. Okay. Now your reading is romantic in nature to a degree because there's another card in my hand that I'll show you in a second that talks about that. But I do feel like, there's actually been quite a few readings today in general that have come down to romantic connections, which surprises me because I feel like I don't get a lot of those readings, but we also have for you, before we get into that card, we have the card of forgiveness. And this card to me, yes, of course, it's literally about forgiveness, but I'm really getting the message that this is more about forgiving yourself for ways that you've behaved in the past, or forgiving yourself for not taking better care of yourself now that you're really getting with it and like taking better care of yourself in the next 4 months. I feel like it's going to take a lot of self-forgiveness because I get the sense that you've maybe been through a hard time recently and now you're climbing out of that. But like you need to learn how to forgive yourself for the time that it took you to kind of recalibrate. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to need to take a little extra time to recalibrate, recenter yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. Then we have the card of romance. That's why I said I have another card in my hand that I feel like your reading is talking about romance coming into your life over the next 4 months. And I always want to remind you, if you're already in a relationship, it doesn't mean your relationship is going to end and you're going to find somebody new. It literally could be rekindling the spark in your relationship or getting super romantic together. So either way, but I do see that before the year is out, romance is going to be in the cards for you, literally. So whether you're already with somebody or you're not, that is going to be kind of charging up for you. Either meeting somebody or getting more romantic with somebody you already know. There's some love is in the air for you. Okay. Now we also have this spirit. It's a spirit animal card or animal spirit card that I will be reading from the book for you. And this is the starfish. Look how cute. Love it. Okay, we have the starfish for you, and it says beautiful, alluring, superficial, or shallow. The starfish is a natural and exquisite beauty. Mesmerizing to all, being around someone with starfish energy is a thrill, like you've been put under a spell of divinity itself. The problem is these creatures have been reliant on how they look and what other people think of them. For so long, they may have forgotten their deeper callings. When this card appears, it's important to ask, am I being swayed by outward appearances? What dreams have I put aside to please others? When in balance, you're uplifting, artistic, and expressive. When out of balance, you gossip or feel empty. To bring into balance, positive friends can help. So I do feel like as you're up-leveling yourself right now, and you're needing to forgive yourself a little bit, I do feel like, first of all, I don't even really agree with this card, if I'm being honest with you. I think it's fine to be a little superficial with yourself. I think it's okay to want to be alluring or beautiful. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think anybody who tells you that there is full of shit. All of us want to be beautiful in our own way, regardless of what that looks like. Everybody has a natural desire to want that for themselves. I don't care who you are. But I do feel that even though you're becoming this person, right? You're becoming more charismatic, more confident, more beautiful. You're putting more time and energy into yourself. You're forgiving the past version of yourself that didn't give these things to yourself. I do think that your life is going to change because of what you're doing, but I do also think it's really important for you not to push people away because they don't fit the ideal life that you're trying to create right now. So I do think it's good to make friends that want to cheer you on. Like, don't stay around people that are going to put down your goals and dreams. But ultimately, it doesn't mean you have to remove every single person from around you because they're not on your same wavelength. It's okay to like talk to people sporadically versus every single week all the time. And I also feel like Spirit is saying that stars might be important to you. Like, you might have a star tattoo, or you might just like really love astrology, or like stars might be just an important symbol for you to pay attention to be divinely guided. So if this reading resonated with you, please leave me this emoji down below in the comment section so I know which pile you chose, and tell me what you've been manifesting and how it's been going. I genuinely take the time to read every response in the comment section, so I can't wait to see what you've been manifesting. If you would like to support me a little bit more and get some extra content for yourself, please consider supporting me on my Patreon. Every single week, I sit down and I channel astrology, tarot, and bibliomancy for you. And every single month, I give you the theme with tarot. And every single month, depending on which tier you join my Patreon at, I also do community events, and we do bonus content, which can include things like vlogs, equipment overviews, extra pick a cards, extra astrology videos. My Patreon is such a good time, and I would love to have you over there as a cozy babe. And if you want even more free content from me, please do consider checking out my podcast. It's called The Cozy Babes Club, and it is literally all things cozy. We talk about mental health, we talk about trends, we talk about everything under the sun. I love my podcast. It's such a great source, I feel like, of more from me, but just it's like where all the context comes together. So if you follow me on socials or anywhere else, the podcast to me gets like all the BTS. So definitely check out my podcast. It's available everywhere you listen to podcasts. Link for that down below. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and don't forget to stay cozy out there. Hi, pile number 3. If you chose this honey calcite, this is going to be your reading. So let's go ahead and see what we have starting out. So for the rest of 2023, number 1, we have this TikTok card. So this could be literal in the sense that you might be working on like your TikTok branding or something, or making a bunch of TikToks for your company, or maybe you're like a social media handler of some kind and the TikTok really resonates. But the TikTok card, if you're not somebody that's interested in that or into that, I would say this is about managing your time appropriately. So I do feel like if things have felt chaotic, if your schedule has felt chaotic, or maybe you've just been like in a slump about creating a routine for yourself, Spirit is saying that for the rest of 2023, you are going to be getting right with your schedule and your time management. That is something that you're manifesting, having like better time management. We also have for you the card of building blocks. So this card is all about building your own empire, being the like boss of your business, building an empire, getting into entrepreneurship. I honestly feel like if you're a company, like a company founder, this is like, I feel like that TikTok really rings true, like using TikTok for your company or your business, or something of that regard. So I do see that you're working on building an empire, building a name for yourself, building your own. I really feel like this is my entrepreneur pile. I'm hearing like business person. You're somebody that's interested in entrepreneurship. And I don't just say that lightly either. I genuinely am one of those people that even though I'm an entrepreneur, I was raised by an entrepreneur, I do not think entrepreneurship is for everyone, genuinely. So if you're not somebody that's interested in that, I would actually advise you to go back and choose a different pile, because I don't think this pile is for you. But because I don't believe everybody should be an entrepreneur. I think that it's perfectly okay to desire a 9-to-5 life. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's not worse. It's not better. It's just a different lifestyle. But those of you that are in business for yourself, are entrepreneurs, are working on something, I can see that this fall and winter, or it could be spring and summer, depending on where you live. But if I say autumn and winter, it's because that's how it is where I live. But put into it what works for you. building blocks, though, you are working on building your empire. And I am seeing that TikTok would actually give you a lot of great success if you used it as a tool for your business. Now we have the card of Imagine. I'm going to tell you right now, this pile might be linked to pile number 2. So if you felt called to pile number 2 also, you might want to check it out as well. We also had a card that had Imagine. It was a different card, different deck, but we had the card of Imagine in there as well. Now, this is all about like your imagination and expanding on your imagination. I'm also hearing that your dreams might contain premonitions, or not even, it could be premonitions, but it also could be like, sometimes dreams don't happen exactly as you like dreamt them. They are symbols for your life. Like, for example, I think one of the best ways, if you have trouble interpreting your dreams, one of the best pieces of advice I've ever received from somebody that I am being told by Spirit to share with you is, remember that when you dream, every person or thing is an aspect of yourself. So I used to have dreams when I first moved into this house that I live in almost a year ago that my parents died. Like I kept dreaming constantly, like almost every night. I would dream that either my mom or my dad died. And I was starting to get really concerned about it. I was like, oh, does that mean like that's coming? Like my mother was recently diagnosed with some really heavy stuff. My dad himself isn't always in like the best health. They're in their 70s. Like, this scares me. I don't like it. And then a dear friend pointed that out, that like your dreams show you an aspect of yourself. And when I thought about that, it made such a difference. I feel like my mind opened. And what I realized was that like moving into this house, it's not that my parents were physically dying in the physical reality. It was that my need to please them had died. And that actually is true. I don't live for their approval anymore. And that's something that a younger version of me did. So that's all I'm saying is like, I know that was a really personal example, but Spirit is ultimately saying that if you feel like your dreams are just like really crazy right now, remind yourself that they're all aspects of you. So like, because even when we talk about like the physical reality, everybody is us pushed out, right? So it works in the waking world as well, but like take that in. If there's like something that happens in your dreams or you have a reoccurring dream, Spirit is saying over the next 4 months, evaluate that with that lens, because it will be a tool that will help you understand what's coming up in your subconscious. And I'm also being told that like you need to imagine bigger ideas for your company. I feel like you are the dreamer of your dream and you're being told to put your imagination to work over the next 4 months. And then we also have the card of the Fates. This is a really lucky card in this deck, I feel like, because it's all about like having fate on your side, having luck on your side, having things that are fated for you, that are meant to be a part of your life happen. And something I want you to always repeat to yourself is, what is desired by me is destined for me. What is desired by me is destined for me, because you are not meant to just have desires and have them not manifest. Like, obviously it's great that we don't have instantaneous manifestation, because I think sometimes our thoughts are garbage and we would be manifesting all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's good that it takes a little bit sometimes. But if you really truly desire something, that means that it is part of your destiny and it's fated for you. And Spirit is saying something that is fated and has been fated for your life is going to be happening at the end of this year, or before the year is through, rather. Okay, these next 5 cards are going to help us. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to show you these. Oh my gosh, this really is my entrepreneur card. I'll tell you why in a sec. But okay, first of all, 10 of Wands. If you are like a startup or you started your business in 2023, I do feel like you maybe aren't used to the level of work that it takes. It has been a lot. You have been carrying things up the mountain by yourself. And Spirit is saying that that's probably really not going to stop for you this year. So if you were hoping to take a break at the end of this year, it's probably not going to happen. I'm just going to be honest with you. 10 of Wands tells me that you're still carrying the boulder up the hill. You're still the one filling all the roles. You're still the one filling all the orders, taking all the pictures, filling out the descriptions. Like, you are the one that is in charge. And it's okay. You're still laying the foundation or like possibly entering like a new phase of business, I'm hearing. So Spirit is ultimately saying, though, with the 10 of Wands, that it is still going to be you. And there doesn't look like there's a break in sight right now. Now, we also have for you the Queen of Crystals. And I actually really love this card for you specifically, pile number 4, because I do feel like something that other people do not understand, and from one entrepreneur to another, something that other people do not understand, especially non-entrepreneurs, they don't understand, number one, the level of work and dedication it takes to be an entrepreneur. And they don't understand that like when you don't work, the business doesn't work. And I feel like it's very easy to, I'm just going to say, I'm going to be very blunt about this. I call those people do nothing bitches. The people that don't get it, they are do nothing bitches. They are the people that will sit on the sidelines and tell you like you work too much, you do too much, slow down, calm down, take more naps, do more X, Y, and Z. But you have to ask yourself this question. And the reason, I'll tell you why with this Queen of Swords, or Queen of Crystals, excuse me, but the crystals in this deck are swords. But the reason why you need to not take their advice, even if it's well endearing, like even if it's something that this person really does care about you or your health, like that's all well and good. If you feel like you need to see a doctor, you probably should. And that's not a diagnosis of any kind. Please know I'm not a medical health professional. But the thing is, you have to ask yourself if the person saying these things to you, are they where you want to be in life right now? Because unless it's another business owner that is successful, that is telling you these things, it's not like they don't know where you're coming from. And they might be all like well-meaning, but they don't understand the trajectory that you're on. And you cannot take advice from these people. It's unfortunate. But the reason I'm saying this to you, pile number 4, is because the Queen of Crystals is somebody that has boundaries and protects their mental health and does not listen to what I call do nothing bitches. Do not listen to a do nothing bitch, okay? I know that that's really harsh. We might need a little sugar to make that medicine go down, but I'm not Willy Wonka, okay? I'm not making candy at the candy factory. I didn't come here to sugarcoat shit. And this to me tells me you need to have some boundaries towards the end of this year with people that try to tell you basically to get off. Because like, here's the other thing. When people also, even if, again, they're well-meaning, they care about you, you have to remember that oftentimes the things that people don't realize is when you are on your A game, when you're doing shit, when you're on fire, when you're like making big moves, what other people don't realize, because it's all unconscious, is they start to take that personally and they'll ask themselves what that means about them. I see this person working so hard. What does that mean about me? What does that say about me? Should I work harder? And so they try to pull you to where they are. And this is actually a lesson that I myself have had to learn the hard way multiple times in my life. So don't listen to a do nothing bitch. You do you, you set the schedule, you set the rules, you do what you need to do for yourself. And I'm not saying like become narcissistic and never take anybody's personality or take anybody's feelings, not personality, feelings or criticism, constructive criticism in. But if you feel like you need to seek counsel, I honestly believe it either needs to come from other entrepreneurs that are successful, or it needs to come from professionals, like an actual doctor, an actual therapist. Do not take advice from a do nothing bitch. You need to have boundaries with these do nothing people. Okay. Next up, we have the Empress for you. And I love this too, because I also feel like I don't know why this message is coming through so strongly for you, pile number 4, but like, I really feel like people think that all you do is work, and that might be true, but it's not. It might be a little true. You might work a lot. You might work a lot more than other people. And that's something else, is like, you might work more than somebody else would, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing because you are working on your dream right now. And the Empress tells me that your relaxation is coming. Yes, you're the person in charge. Yes, you're the person that's doing a lot with the 10 of Wands, but the Empress is somebody that like you get to the point of thriving because all of the hard work you've put in. You get to the point of getting to reap the harvest. You get to be the person that like when they start seeing the fruits of your labor, pile number 4, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, what in the F did you do? And how can I do it too? And then suddenly they're cheering for you, they're clapping for you, and they're not questioning your methods. But the Empress to me, that's very divine feminine energy. And I do feel like you will be doing that. Like you're not just going to disregard, you're not going to bulldoze your way through being all full masculine, because I do feel like when it comes to having a business head, a lot of the people that do, it's not that you are male or female, but they tend to be masculine driven people. But I don't think that's you. I think you use your feminine energy as well in business. And I think that's a good thing because guess what? We also have the Emperor for you. Oh my gosh. So if you keep your boundaries about you, it either could also be that you're meeting an Emperor-like person. Like it's one or the other. Either you're the Emperor and you're going to be meeting the Empress at the end of this year, or like somebody that's really compatible with where you are. Or this is also you balancing the masculine and feminine side of yourself. It's having that rest, relaxation, recoup, but knowing when the hard work needs to get done and not just like laying down and doing nothing. You're not a do nothing bitch, okay? You're not. I know I've said bitch a lot in this reading, but you're not one of those people. You're somebody that's willing to work for it. And I think your work actually gives you a really big sense of accomplishment. And like, honestly, I hate it when I hear people say things like, oh, well, you can't curl up and sleep with your career at night. Like that must, like you're married to your job. Like, no, first of all, have you ever tried, like, you've got to ask that person, have you ever tried like being fueled by your own passion? Because it feels pretty good. And secondly, there's also this whole like, this is like another thing that's coming up in your reading that's like, you can have it all. Oh my gosh, there was this comedian recently that I heard that this like really ties into what the energy is that I'm receiving is like, you can have it all, especially women. Women are always told we can have it all. We can have children, we can have a career, we can have the marriage, we can have the house. And the comedian was like, have you ever gone to a buffet and then been happy about your life choices afterwards? Like that's called having it all. Okay. Listen, again, you don't need to listen to other people on any end of the spectrum. You don't need to listen to the people that are like, you can have it all, you can do everything. No, it's okay if you just want to focus on certain aspects of your business and get your own shit together how you want to do it. But it's also okay if on the flip side of that, you don't want to rest, you don't want to relax, you're feeling very action, movement forward. And know that that's okay. Like, I think some of y'all just really need the permission slip, to be honest, to feel like you can go full force into something uninterrupted. And I do think it's valuable to do maintenance with yourself. But right now is not that time. I feel like ultimately the end of this year, you're being told to go full steam ahead, manage your time, build the blocks, use your imagination. Know that this is a very blessed timeline for you. You are in like a very blessed chapter, especially with that Fates card. But having the boundaries and continuing to persevere is what is going to make or break this situation for you. And then we have the Fool. And I love this card because it's all about taking risk. It's all about taking chances. It's all about throwing caution to the wind and deciding to do things your way, beating to the song of your own drum. And again, not listening to a do nothing bitch, listening to your damn self. And I love that for you. That's wonderful. This is the energy, like truly pile number 4. If you chose this pile, like you need to leave a comment because I feel like your energy and my energy, we are very on the same page. And I feel like I never speak so candidly about certain things, but I really feel like me and you, we might have similar guides. Okay. We might have even some of the same guides because I feel like we are vibrating on a different energy that I don't know that I've ever done a reading like that before. Okay. We still got more cards. We're not even done, baby. Oh my gosh, your reading's gonna be so long. Okay, we have the harvest for you. I was literally just talking about the harvest. I literally said you're going to get to harvest from the fruits of your labor. So harvest, as the waves of the ocean are infinite, as the trees in the forest grow tall, let my work now bring me to harvest. I am ready to receive my all. Literally, do not stop what you're doing right now. Continue to persevere. Again, don't listen. There are people that are trying to throw you off your game. You need to not listen to them. You are going to reap the rewards of your harvest before this year is over. You are going to get your lucky break. Do you hear me? You are going to get your lucky break. This is something that was fated for you, and it's happening. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I got like chills. I'm so excited for you. Okay, and then we also have grace, which says, grace, blessing, come to me, set me free. So I feel like with this card of grace, for some reason I heard that like the name Grace might be significant to you. Some of you that are here, it could be like an actual guide's name, a grandmother's name, or even your name. But when we have grace, I feel like this is like having grace with something. I feel like you're not the type to get your harvest and then be like, oh, see, I did it. I told you. You're not going to do that. You are just going to let the way that you live, your lifestyle, and everything in your life that up levels from this point on, you are going to let that speak for itself. And because you're going to let that speak for itself, you're going to have grace about this. And like, don't get me wrong. I think sometimes all of us get a little rowdy and we want to sock it to somebody who told us that we couldn't, but I don't think that's you. And you're being cautioned against that. Like, I'm not saying you won't get your dig in eventually somewhere if it's really that important to you. And I don't judge. I really don't. I don't care. Like, that's your prerogative. But I do think if you have grace in the beginning, like, you will get that like acknowledgement eventually. And it will be so much sweeter than if you had like dug it out of someone. Okay. With this grace card, we also have the wait card. And so again, I feel like it's not time for I told you so's. It's not like, even though it might feel so good in the moment to let the ego take over, it's not going to serve you long term. I also feel like there's something about waiting to strike when the iron's hot. So right now, you got to move in silence. What you're doing, don't be telling other people about your plans. Just be moving in silence and wait to strike when the iron is hot. And wait to share your successes until you feel like you're ready. Don't share like the very first, like, I have had that experience myself from one entrepreneur to another. Okay. I've had that experience myself where I've shared before I was ready, not with like y'all, not with people on my channel. I never share publicly before I'm ready, but I've shared with like family before I was ready because I wanted their validation for what I was doing. And Spirit is saying like, you don't need that. Your work and getting what it is that you hoped your work would give to you, that is going to be its own validation, and don't share right away. Then we have a take action, which we already knew this. Okay. We already knew that the end of this year, these are going to be busy for you. I don't know if you're somebody that like sells something, maybe you're going to have like a busy holiday season, but this is going to be a very action oriented time. You are going to have to really boss up. And then we also have the energy of the tiger for you. And with this tiger card, I am actually going to read this from the book because I do not have this memorized, but it says, lunar force, ease in darkness, feminine energy. The tiger hunts at night, at one with the silence, fearing nothing. This card reminds us to take in the wild darkness, to allow the lunar forces to soothe and heal our spirits. Sensuality, receptivity, and devotion are all heightened in the midnight hour. And the tiger takes advantage of these boons, spending some time in silence. This evening, drinking in the potent calm. There is nothing to fear in the stillness except the awakening of your own power. When in balance, passionate, strong, and sensual. When out of balance, overstimulated. To bring into balance, I don't know. Apparently it's candle gazing. I just don't know how to pronounce it. But ultimately, Spirit is saying, like, use your feminine energy in business. Do not just full brute force masculine this, but also, I love this last line that says, there is nothing to fear in the stillness except the awakening of your own power. You are literally awakening to your own power, my love. And it's going to be such a beautiful thing. Truly, the rest of 2023 is going to change you. You are literally going to be coming out of this year a different person. And it seems like a really massive up level. So I'm really excited for you. If this reading resonated with you, please leave me this emoji down below in the comment section so I know which pile you chose, and tell me what you've been manifesting and how it's been going. I genuinely take the time to read every response in the comment section, so I can't wait to see what you've been manifesting. If you would like to support me a little bit more and get some extra content for yourself, please consider supporting me on my Patreon. Every single week I sit down and I channel astrology, tarot, and bibliomancy for you. And every single month I give you the theme with tarot, and every single month, depending on which tier you join my Patreon at, I also do community events and we do bonus content, which can include things like vlogs, equipment overviews, extra pick a cards, extra astrology videos. My Patreon is such a good time and I would love to have you over there as a cozy babe. And if you want even more free content from me, please do consider checking out my podcast. It's called The Cozy Babes Club, and it is literally all things cozy. We talk about mental health. We talk about trends. We talk about everything under the sun. I love my podcast. It's such a great source, I feel like, of more from me, but just it's like where all the context comes together. So if you follow me on socials or anywhere else, the podcast to me gets like all the BTS. So definitely check out my podcast. It's available everywhere you listen to podcasts. Link for that down below. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and don't forget to stay cozy out there.